This is the beginning of chapter 7. It's titled Introduction to Exponent. I hope you have your binders ready to copy the notes, and you could pause the video at any time. Here is your objective. The objective is to recognize the properties of exponent and use them to simplify expressions. Now, the first thing we are going to learn today is what is power, and this is what a power looks like. Now, a power has a number, and then there is a smaller number that shows you what it is raised to. Therefore, the smaller number multiplies the bottom number by itself as many times as itself. Now, this means now x is raised to 3, therefore x is going to be multiplied by itself as many times as the exponent, which is 3. Here we go. And you could see that now x times x times x. Now, what is the 3? The 3 is actually the exponent, and the x, which is the bigger number, is called the base. Now, what I do not want you to do is to actually multiply the base by the exponent. Okay, let's look at an example. Now, the first rule of exponents is going to be rule of common basis. Now, what does rule of common basis say? It says that if I have the same base, in this case x and x, and they are raised to an exponent, in this case a and b, I keep the same base and I multiply the exponent. I add the exponent, my fault. So a plus b. Alright? Now, if we have an example with numbers, here we go. N cubed times n squared. Therefore, you guessed it now, you add 3 plus 2 and you get 5. In this case, n cubed means n is multiplied by itself 3 times. N squared means n is multiplied by itself twice. So altogether you have 5 n's. Hence, in a short, we just add them, not the bottom one. So is that clear? I hope so. Alright, if you want a copy, of course you can. If you want to print this when you come to school, you can actually. Now, here are some examples you need to do on your own. And these are very, very simple, as I explained to you. This is the rule of common basis. All of them have the same basis. It means I'm going to add the exponent. I'm going to do number 1, and then you can do number 2 on your own. So let's look at number 1. Number 1 says x to the 4th times x cubed. Therefore, since they have the same basis, rule of common base tells me that I add 4 plus 3, which equal to, you guessed it, 7. Here we go. Now you do number 2 on your own. Okay, I hope you paused the video. Now, of course, you add 5 plus 6 and you get 11. Number 3 is a little different. Remember, the 3 is do you remember it? It's called the coefficient. Now, the other one, the other m does not have 1. Therefore, the coefficient is 1. So you multiply 3 times 1. But then the common basis, m and m, so you add the exponent. So the final answer, can you tell me? It's going to be 3m to the 7th. Let's do number 4 now. Pause the video and do it yourself. All the way to number 6. Thank you. Okay, here are the answers for number 4. I hope you paused it. Okay, here's the 8 to the x to the 8th. Number 5 is going to be, don't forget the negative sign. Negative 6 or opposite 6, n to the 9th. And 6 is going to be double negatives. You multiply the negatives, you get positive 6a to the 6. I hope that was clear. Remember, if you don't get this completely, you can come to school the next day and ask questions. Here is another one I want you to do on your own. First, I'll do number 1 with you, and then you do 2 and 3 on your own. Look at number 1. Number 1 has, just look at the left side before the minus sign. The left side has 2 quantities. Quantity of 7ab times the quantity of 2a squared. Now, 7 and 2 are coefficients, therefore I can multiply them. That gives me 14. The exponent for a is 1, even though it's not written, and the coefficient of a, another one, is 2. Rule of common base tells me I add the exponents. But b is by itself, therefore it's a 1. So let's do the first part. Here's the first part. Then minus. Now, 5, there is no second base for a, therefore I keep what I see. But now, if I look carefully on the left-hand side, after 14, the term is a cubed b. On the right side, after 5, is a cubed b. It means they are the same terms. If they are the same terms, I can either add them or subtract them. In this case, I subtract them, and my answer is, did you guess it? 14 minus 5 gives me 9a cubed b. Now, you do the same thing for number 2 and number 3 on your own. Please pause the video at this moment. Thank you. Okay, now here's the answer for number 2. The left side plus the right side. Since they are the same terms, I subtract. I get 2k to the 5th, x to the 4th. Let's do number 3, like you did on your own. Now, the left side is going to be a squared y to the 4th. Now, double negatives will give me positive. Remember, 6a cubed 4 to the 4th. And of course, the last answer is 7a squared y to the 4th. All right, let's go to the next video. Now, the next rule, besides rule of common basis, is power to power rule. This is the second rule we are going to learn. It means in this case, I am going to multiply the exponent since I'm raising a power to another power. Here we go. X is raised to a raised to b. So I am going to multiply a times b. Got it? So whenever you see it this way, always multiply the two exponents. Here's, for example, now what's the answer going to be? Quickly, you could say 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, let's do it expanded form. So that is raised, n cubed is raised to squared. So I means I'm going to do it twice. So how many n's am I going to have? Of course, altogether I have 6. But I don't want you to do the bottoms, just for show. Therefore, you multiply 3 times 2 and you get 6. So n squared, n cubed squared is going to be n to the 6. I hope you got that. Now, let's do this on your own. I will do number 3 for you. You do number 1 and number 2. Go ahead, pause the video. Okay. Now, 4 times 5 will give me 20. Here in this case, number 2, you need to be very careful because 4, remember, the 2 is going to be distributed to all the bases. What are the bases in this case in the parentheses? Negative 4 is a base, x is a base, and y is a base. Y does not show its exponent, so it's 1. 4 does not have another one, so it's going to be 1. Therefore, the 2 will multiply the 1 and the y. Therefore, what do I get? Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. X squared times 2 is 4. Then y, it has only 1, then becomes squared. So be very careful. All right. Now, even though I said I'll do number 3 for you, I think you can do number 3 on your own. But look, the 2 does not have an exponent. Therefore, it's 1. Don't forget to multiply 1 by 3. Go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, here's the answer. Remember, 2 cubed is going to be 8. Then a squared times 3 is 6. B cubed times 3 is 9. C to the 5th cubed is the 15th. All right, that's the final answer. Number 4, we need to be super careful because everything that you see in the parentheses will have a 2 if it has a 1 exponent, or it will be multiplied by 2. In this case, 2 and 3, they don't show exponent, therefore there is a 1 next to them. So 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. So that's going to be positive 4 cubed. Squared, I'm sorry. Then 8 times 4, 8 to the 4 times 2 is 8. B squared is going to be 4. Okay? You got that? And that's your final answer. Now, here, again, it looks complicated, but It is not. Just keep clear of everything inside the parentheses. If it does not have an exponent, you will put a 1 and then you multiply that by 2. So why don't you do number 1 and number 2 on your own? Pause the video and then I'll show you the answer. Okay, here's the answer. I hope you paused it. Don't cheat, otherwise you won't learn anything. And here's the final answer. And double check your answers. You can pause the video and keep going back to see how I did it. Look at number 2. Okay, very, very good. Now here's the final answer. Still, as I said, if this is complicated for you at home, when you come to school, we can do it together.